This is exactly what the San Diego Padres needed, a five-starter who feels like a major leaguer, delivers like a major leaguer, and maybe means we don't need to worry about that position anymore for the rest of the season. What's going on, everybody? I'm Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much to tuning into a show that does not claim to be a Padres expert, that does not claim to be a baseball insider, just claims to be a dude on the internet, here to ride emotionally shotgun with you through the season for the highs, the lows, and all in between, including Stephen Kolek making a surprisingly, heartwarmingly great first major league start against the Pittsburgh Pirates today. As of us recording this, the game just got done, and I had to hop on here and talk about it because this might be exactly what the Padres need. And I know that sometimes I am a dude who overreacts and gets hyperbolic, but in the realm of, like, we've got guys coming and going on and off of injuries. We've got potential needing to re-sign superstars. Like, the Padres, it's all good news, more or less, across the board, but there is still news. There still are plot lines. One of the negative plot lines this season has been that we haven't necessarily had a five-starter locked and loaded. We've had a 1 through 3 kind of dialed in entirely. Cease and Pivetta being maybe even King and Pivetta being the 1-2. Cease might even be the 3. Four's had some health and injury issues. Darvish will be that guy when he comes back. But the 5 slot, I was entirely wrong, it would seem, about Kyle Hart. And since then, there have been really no definitive answers within the minor league system. We've tried a Randy Vasquez. He's had some good and bad. We've tried a couple of other permutations of some dudes. I've even dabbled with saying, hey, let's just go to a 4-man roster. The Padres did, or 4-man rotation. Padres did that for a second, but then they make what seemingly was a fun, nice story, but an innocuous move of David Morgan down to El Paso. You might be saying, David Morgan, who exactly? He was not somebody on either, like, we did not take a superstar out and say, okay, we're going to take a risk on a guy. This is not jettisoning Yuli Gurriel or Jason Hayward or someone at the very bottom. Like, Morgan was not necessarily dragging the Padres down in any way. So it's just kind of, initially to me, just felt like an MLB move where you start cycling through some dudes, you start giving guys some innings, you start trying to say, hey, let's throw stuff against the wall and see what we got. Stephen Kolek has had a nice little dabbling in the majors with the Padres as a reliever last season. He has done okay in the minors throughout the last year and a half in terms of win-loss ERA, but if you are somebody that subscribes to maybe looking at baseball a little bit deeper than that, there has been the underline that Kolek is a strike thrower, and I think we have learned potentially, or I shouldn't even say we, I will say it myself because I was very big on Kyle Hart in the beginning of the season, and I liked it because he was that lefty, had a little something, was sliding here, was moving there, a little this, that, and the other on the pitches. And maybe what I have learned or started to admit that I know is, and this sounds simplistic, is sometimes you just need a dude who throws strikes. And we've seen that in the back end of our bullpen with Jeremiah Estrada, with just the overwhelming amount of dudes that Ruben Niebla just teaches to throw, attack the zone and give us the best possible results you can get us in terms of when the Padres are out there on the mound. Just throw strikes and let the defense take care of it. Force the offense of the opposing team to take care of it, and don't give them those unforced errors of walks. And as cool as the Hart story was coming from KBO and his lefty nastiness, I maybe fell victim to the eye candy of that and didn't give a guy like this a chance to really be a competitive arm out of the spring training that we saw from him. This is the numbers here from start number 1, 5 1/3, 0 runs, 4 hits, 4 Ks, 2 walks. That second walk was the last batter that he faced. They were up 4-0. He was at 88 pitches when he was at 5 1/3 with one guy on that he had just walked. So I think he could have gone and finished out the 6th inning. I think, though, that part of the luxury of what we have of the Padres bullpen being as good as they are is we don't have to ride some of these guys until the wheels falls off. You can get a great 5 1/3, 88 pitches outing out of somebody and then pull the ripcord as soon as they tire, because they're not a Verlander who's going to throw the last 20 pitches harder than the first 20 pitches. So great job, I think, by Mike Shildt to pull him out. And some of the Mike Shildt postgame comments were very, very enthusiastic and encouraging of the outing. There was zero sense of like, oh, we were worried about that. Like I said, it was 4-0. He was in control. So you can even read this, I would say, in my personal record book as like only one walk. Not that it was a bad call or anything, but it was a really good outing. What is not featured here stats-wise that I think was fantastic, because Kolek's main thing is he's just a fastball guy. He throws a sinker and a four-seam. I put it in quotes because ultimately those two are fastballs. The sinker is coming at 98, 97, 99, depending on how hard it's not a change-up type of difference. Those are both fastballs. So if you put those two together, he is a 70+%, 80+%, depending on the stretch that he's in, of fastballs. He attacked the zone, and of the 16 outs that he got, more than half of them were ground ball outs, which is, again, balls in the zone. You force hitters to swing. You get guys early in the count either behind or jumping on pitches where they go, okay, it's a 96-mile-an-hour sinker up and in, but it is a strike, and so I got to swing. Like, the mindset gets established in a guy who, we will see, there are more starts to come, and there are many, many more opportunities for us to figure out if this really is a dude gonna, end up being our guy, all of this, that, and the other. But I think that initial tweet you saw where he has the aura of a starting pitcher is very much a true statement. He feels like a guy that if we put at the 5 spot could be just, I want to say reliable. I want to say forgettable in the sense that, like, we don't have to worry about him. Like, he might have if you are a guy who's pounding the zone like that, we might have some days where he gets touched up if he goes against the Giants, the Dodgers, the Phillies, sometimes the sinker just isn't sinking entirely. You get beat up a little bit, so maybe his ERA is 4.5. Maybe he is 11-8. But as we saw today, he got the Machado and Bogaerts surge of run support early on. Stephen Kolek will be pitching with a good offense behind him, hypothetically, as long as most people can stay healthy for the foreseeable future. So if Mike Shildt and AJ Preller are serious about leaving this kid in and giving him the opportunity to be the 5 starter, this might be the spark. Spark might be an overstatement, because this isn't going to put a jolt into the starting pitching rotation, but this might close the concern, noise, background, and issues. If we can have a guy in Stephen Kolek who, at the very least, like I said, is not going out there and in the second inning walking the first guy to then give up a single, and all of a sudden you're down and it's 2-0, and you're like, wow, we got to fight back already. If it's a guy that you just know every 5 days is going to go out there and throw a ton of fastball strikes and give your team a shot, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 4 2/3, 6 1/3, just shoot some kind of buckshot at his stats or anywhere in that range, I will absolutely 10 out of 10 times take that as a 5 starter. So this might, like I said, be exactly what the Padres need, is Stephen Kolek to just come in and be a dude. And be a dude's dude who throws strikes, is good, positive, always just a guy that the offense rallies behind because they like the fact that he keeps them in game. But just, he could be exactly what the Padres need. It is a pleasant surprise, at least from me. I know I'm not a baseball expert. I'm just a guy on the internet. So if you guys already saw it and you're like, nah, Christian, you dumb. You'd never see these guys coming. But yeah, we knew all along that Stephen Kolek was a stud. Drop that in the comments section. Help me get better at pitching analysis. But this was something that, like I said, I think I bit a little bit on the allure and high-end potential of a guy who won the KBO's version of a Cy Young and had a nasty lefty thing and overlooked the guy that just is a dog and a young kid that's ready to throw strikes for the Padres. So, Stephen Kolek, welcome to the starting version of the show. You did it as relief last year. Tip of the cap. Go Padres. If you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Like I said at the top, we got content coming out all season long as I am here to ride emotionally shotgun with you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Padres Digest. We'll talk to you soon.